Hey, everybody. We're live here, at least on YouTube, maybe on Facebook too. But welcome, everybody. Merry Christmas. And welcome to a special edition here. We've got a little live stream post Christmas for everybody. It is, 5 o'clock here on the East Coast. Risto, 4 p.m. there. Definitely chillier there. Risto, what do you got going on this Christmas?
Oh, it's we have a white Christmas, which is nice, and
Excellent.
uh, and it's not too cold here. Just cold enough to keep the snow around for a bit.
Mm. Yeah, I wish I could say the same. It was a very brown Christmas down here in South Carolina. So, but Eero, you've had a change of pace. It's White Christmas up there.
Oh yeah, and it's been cold in the like even lower 20s, many days in a row, and we're kind of waiting for the warm to come back, the warmer come back here, but there's still some snow left, so it was a beautiful Christmas in many different ways. I'm
Great, great. Anything fun under the tree?
There was quite a lot of stuff under the tree this year, like this very nice shirt that I got.
Oh
It's
yeah,
I'm
looking sharp.
yeah. And a bathrobe, hopefully to be used in some saunas in the hopefully near future. So again, I don't know why I haven't been that good, but I Santa Claus was being very favorable this year. What about
Excellent. And
you?
then oh, it was great. My wife got me a lovely bottle of scotch, and we sat around and watched Christmas movies after FaceTiming with some family and friends. Yeah, it was a good Christmas down here. So we're actually planning on going back to Minnesota here in a couple of weeks for our nephew's first birthday. We're gonna skip the hustle and bustle of the holidays and just go back for a fun birthday party. So a little bit less, but I'm sure everyone will have all kinds of stories for us. Risto, what did you end up doing this Christmas? Did you fire up that sauna?
A few days earlier, we had a good family sauna all together with all six of us, and we don't often do that. Just with the kids. Sometimes it's with friends over or that type of thing. So it was nice to have our whole family together, and then
Oh yeah.
most of our Christmas was with Julie's family, so it was a bunch of Cambodian food for Christmas.
Ooh, nice. And you like it spicy?
I do.
Yeah, I can see the little tamale light on your mic there.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Looks
That's
yeah,
nice.
doesn't that look like a little jalapeno or something?
Yeah.
But Arrow, how about you? It been in the sauna lately?
We had it was a winter solstice get together on Saturday. So it was a great start for the holiday festivities, and it was my good friend, former NAS board member Rick Watson, who invited us over, and so it was kind of not kind of, it was a couples sauna get together. So my wife and I were there, and some other folks, and we had great chili afterwards, and it is kind of a very good food because it was also very chilly. So we we did not, looking at Risto right now, we did not smoke any cigars or anything like that, which was a straight business, the sauna, and then but you didn't have to, you didn't need a cold plunge. It was so cold outside. I just had to stand there for a while. A
Oh
lot of
yeah.
steaming bodies, but yeah, they're very beautiful, and it's kind of, it seems to be that I feel that this winter solstice sauna is kind of a thing. If it's not a thing already, it might be like an upcoming thing. So it's like depending on where people are and who they are. It's either with the family, or invite some friends over for a good sauna and a nice meal.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we fired it up yesterday, and you just had a great steam. Big shout out to my mom there, joined the chat. She said she missed me. We missed you guys too. Especially for the sauna, it'd be fun to come and join us. You know, we all definitely love having, you know, a good sauna around here when it's cold. You know, Jess and I, we fired it up and then watched, curled up afterwards, you know, in our robes, you know, and watched Christmas movies. So can't beat that. You know, watching little Ralphie, you know, run down the alleyway. I could watch that every year. So, and if you don't know the reference, you haven't seen the Christmas Story, please go watch it. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a couple Christmas Story. I decided that would be the theme for our social media post for our
Yep.
live stream.
Yeah, we had to honor that and watch that last night, and it was great. So many good references. You know, rekindled my love for getting a decoder ring, only to be advertised Ovaltine again.
You're being,
um,
you're
my
being
mom's
called out in the
posting.
chat.
Yeah, being called out again here in the chat, and someone needs me to build one. So definitely, uh, I've been saying, you know, my folks need to go out and buy, you know, some nice lake land, you know, and we'll build a nice sauna down by the lake. Um, you know, I think that'd be great. So I know they would love to go and retire on the lake someday.
Yeah, yeah, that's what you need. You just buy the lake and then you
Oh,
build the
absolutely.
sauna. Then
Yeah,
you
why
build
not?
the sauna right next to it.
By the way, I just have to mention something. So I was on Saturday at that solstice sauna. I was using a ladle that actually had the name, the upper bench, on the side of it. And
Really?
yes, yes, and this is a Orava. I'm going to pronounce it in Finnish. Orava, Orava ladle, and it's a 3D printed plastic ladle. And but the interesting thing about this ladle is that it's got holes on it. So you don't necessarily pour anything on the hot rocks. You just put it on top of the
Let
heater.
it come out naturally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's interesting. So we actually own our own ladle, and hopefully you guys can get to see it one of these days. This was Orava means a squirrel in
Hmm.
Finnish, and Janne Orava gifted that ladle to us.
That's fun. Yeah, we'll have to get the plans and make a few of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I still have a hankering for um the one of the saunas we used. I won't say the name, but one of the saunas we used in Toronto, where we met the owner at that front desk and talked to him a little while. But
Yeah.
their metal ladles were super nice. It'd be nice
Oh,
to it'd
yeah.
be good to get kind of a line on that, and then maybe have some custom upper bench of those sauna ladles. I would love to have one of those.
Yeah, even if we can get our hands on them and then, you know, etch into them or burn into them or something, you know, that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, and if you're just joining us, we're live streaming tonight. It's a special holiday edition of the Upper Bench. Merry Christmas, everybody! You know, we're just sitting here chatting, enjoying some good fellowship here. We've got sauna stories. We've talked about a little bit about the solstice sauna, which is kind of becoming like Eero said, it might be becoming a new thing. I did see some social media posts about the solstice sauna, you know, and people were getting out, and it was kind of seemed like a little bit of a trend, which was great. You know, where we definitely saw a lot of uptick in sauna movement online. You know, around that time. So and it is interesting if you're like any of us, you know, I know Risto, you follow some of those Google Analytics around sauna and you know the mention of it. Was there any uptick recently? I know the New York Times, if you play their word games, the Wordle was sauna. So it's come and gone. So I didn't spoil it for anybody. But yeah, so that one. I got to imagine if you solve it in the Wordle and you don't know what it is, you're going to Google it, or it's going to trigger something to maybe be in your algorithm. So you just type the word sauna into your keyboard. So I got to imagine that's going to impact some people's algorithms.
Yeah. Well, and in wintertime, it seems to go up. I know last year we saw a bunch of new listeners. And then if you look at the Google search trends, in the wintertime, you just see it go up every year and then kind of go back down.
Yeah.
It's interesting how that is so clearly related to cold weather. We've spoken about this many times over, but it's kind of weird. But at the same time, obviously hot and cold. So there you go.
Hmm. Well, and I think too, a lot of people, there's, in the rural communities, hunting communities, they're using their sauna for more than one thing. If they're up at the hunting cabin, that's where they're cleaning up. That's where they're washing up. That's where they're getting hot water. That's where they're getting their heat. So I got to imagine maintenance, design ideas. The search definitely is going to go up. When you're using it more.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice to see more posts about sauna and hunting camp. We had an episode, I think it was this past year, right? It wasn't last year, but with Haley from Keweenaw Logbook. And they talked about hunting camp.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I know I've got a buddy, and he's got a great cabin up in northern Minnesota with an old fashioned wood fired sauna. Love it. So, but it's what you do when you don't have power. That's for sure. But
Yeah.
what else is cooking, guys? We're live here on Facebook and YouTube. Leave us a message if you've got questions, comments, or just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Leave it down in the comments below. We'd love to share it and highlight it here on the stream. Or if you'd like to join us, if you've got a fun story, we've got a link down here below too that you can click on, and we'd love to get you on the screen and just chat with you a little bit about sauna, or just hear about your holiday traditions around sauna. So I know my tradition is always whenever I've got a day off, I'm going to sauna. So I don't need a holiday. I just need a day off. And it was great.
That's right. The solstice sauna, then the post solstice sauna, then the Christmas Eve sauna, the Christmas sauna, the day after Christmas sauna, the New Year's Eve sauna.
Exactly. And keep them going. I don't
Yeah.
know if I hit my goal of 200 this year or not. I got to imagine I got close, but I was trying to sauna 200 times this year. I know our trip to Toronto definitely pumped those numbers up.
Oh, it sure did. By the way, I'm gonna start my we did speak about that Finlandia Foundation Nationals Lecture of the Year, i.e., me. We spoke about that at the last episode, and I'm gonna start my gig. Well, actually, I did a dry run last week virtually to Finlandia Foundation National folks, but I will be traveling to Michigan mid-January. And before that, there's actually the Thermae group is organizing this sauna, little sauna. They get together here in New York City before and in mid January, right after I will take off to Michigan, and we'll see how that goes. I've been in contact with our dear friend Jim Kurtti, or Kurtti, as I would pronounce that in Finnish, so they will be my first gig, which is very exciting.
And
That'll
so
be fun. What did you say that was?
Yeah, what date?
I can't recall exactly. As far as I can as far as I can tell, they have this kind of big thing called the Heikin Päivä, Heikki Day festivities, and I imagine that that might be like January 25th, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. I will double check that, but anyway, so that's where I'm gonna be at that time.
Excellent.
And can kind of I have all these things in my head that don't change too often, but talking about hunting and the hot room, the sauna and hunting and how they go together. So I was just thinking again that same thing on Saturday when I was doing sauna, and it's kind of it's that connection to the nature. It's like you cannot take that away when you are there semi naked. I did have my swim trunks on, but when you're sitting there and in the lower 20s, and you are happily sitting there on a wooden bench outside, not listening to any birds or anything like that, because they would be somewhere warm. But anyway, so you get that connection, and hunting is about that too.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I remember more. I remember days, hunting when I was a kid. We didn't come back to a sauna, and there's plenty of times I wish we would have because we were cold to the bone, either duck hunting or something else, and we got cold. I remember days having to break ice, out on the slough, in the boat because hey, while we got out there, it had cooled off, and then all of a sudden the water had frozen, and you got to break through it and get back. Yeah, there was plenty of times there where you get a little sloppy and you get cold fast. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
seems we've lost Risto there, but anyway, if you're just joining us again, yep, live here on YouTube and Facebook. Happy holidays, everybody! Here from the upper bench, we're chatting. If you've got anything you'd like to add, please feel free to comment below. Merry Christmas to everybody, or Happy Hanukkah, the start of, and everybody. We're just talking, yeah, enjoying our sauna rituals, our sauna traditions here. We've talked a little bit about summer solstice, or excuse me, the winter solstice saunas, and how much we just enjoy getting together with family and friends, especially in the hot room and sharing this time of year. And it does seem to be a trend. It's cold, everybody's outside, and they love. What a great way to warm up if you've partake in any winter activities, from skiing to horseshoeing, even just doing anything outdoors, shoveling the snow for those of you in that region. But what better way to warm up?
So Sam, let me ask you this. Now that you did your Christmas sauna, so what was it different somehow than the sauna normally?
No, no. I would say it's just nice that you can sauna midday, middle of the week, have a day off, a nice holiday where you can just take some time to be with your loved ones, just take a little bit extra time for yourself, and it just all around it was a good time. So not necessarily a long sauna, but we got good and hot, and it was good enough for us. So sometimes you just you need a little warm up.
That's so true. That's so true. Yeah, yeah. The I think about half of the group decided not to go to the sauna. So it was not just, but it was me and my wife and our host's daughter and her fiance, and then our host. We basically did sauna together, and it was it's just like that lively conversation. It's like I have as a Finn, I have a hard time when some people are expecting the sauna to be completely silent, because in the sauna that's when I talk.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. What better level playing field that, if you want to ask a hard question to somebody, hey, might as well get them while they're in their birthday suit. It just knock down the armor a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like
So
sorry, my whole system kind of crashed on me. Um,
Oh,
but it looks like we're still up. And then on YouTube, Finn says, "Hey guys from Michigan here. Wife and I just bought sauna hats today and used them, and they said they could tell a big difference."
oh yeah,
exciting.
absolutely. I remember my first time using a sauna hat and just thinking, I was like, "Oh my goodness, I can stay in here a lot longer than I thought I could," and because your head isn't getting as hot. Just as counterintuitive as you'd think. You are insulating your head from a very extreme outside temperature. So you're going to keep your head a little bit closer to your body core temperature of around 98, instead of 180, air temp on the outside. So that wool hat works both ways. And it's funny, a lot of people would think the other way. They think you would overheat or something like that. But these are looser fitting, sauna hats. These aren't meant to be a stocking cap, like Risto's wearing. Although, it would probably function the same, but it would keep you pretty warm. But I do enjoy a looser fitting sauna hat. The one I'm currently been using is a pirate hat. It's kind of that old fashioned tri-fold hat. Um, and but my wife's got a pretty standard one um, that she likes to keep her hair a little bit cooler.
Yeah, I like to tell people in the sauna, your head is the cold part.
Hmm.
So it's it's keeping that cool in and the heat out. It's the opposite of what happens when you go outside.
Oh, exactly. It's like our little. So we created a little sauna can hat. It's just a tiny little sauna hat, and you can put it on the top of your pop can or your beer can. And honestly, it works. It will keep at least the rim of that can very much colder than it would be if you just set that can on the bench. So, and if you're like me, I like to have one or two cans of something, when I'm in the sauna, and having a little just wool cover to put over my can. I mean, it makes a world of difference. As far as, yeah, you're not burning your lips on a can lid or a can top or something like that.
Which reminds me, I'm getting not a whole lot, but a little older here, and during our trip to Toronto, I learned something about myself. And this my comment is not about alcohol. So it's whether it's non-alcoholic beer or alcoholic beer, it doesn't make a difference. But I've learned to understand now that I cannot drink only beer. I have to drink water somewhere in between, and that's a kind of a new thing for me, honestly.
Yeah, I do like to alternate. I love having a couple of bottles of water. I'm lucky. Fortunate enough, I've got a beer fridge, out kind of by my sauna. So I've always got a case of bottled water or whatever you want, readily available. So there's no reason not to hydrate. Grab a bottle of water, crank some of that, you're good to go. I definitely recommend staying as hydrated as possible. When you're sauning, especially if you're doing multiple rounds and you're maybe having a couple of libations on the side. Yeah, make sure you do alternate that water in there somewhere. You'll thank yourself in the morning.
Yeah, it's just I always thought that there's enough water in beer, and again, it can be a non-alcoholic beer, but no, it's just
Mhm.
like I really do need. I still can, keep drinking beer, but I have to, like you said, alternate between the water and the beer. But anyway, it's just something that I learned about myself, and obviously, it depends because I unlike you, Sam, I don't have access, as you know, I don't have access to. I would do sauna 200 days a year easily if I had one, and
Mhm.
my trips to Finland, I always sauna basically daily. But anyway, so when I get a chance to go to sauna here, I tend to maybe like almost like overdo it.
Ah,
So
yeah.
I'm gonna do sauna as much as long as I have time to do it.
Mhm.
Uh,
And I do think that is something too that, there are certain days where I may only want, a couple of rounds, one or two rounds sometimes even. And if I'm, just feeling a little bit off or, hey, I just needed a good sweat and jump in, jump out. Maybe I got some things I need to get done, but having my own, home sauna, I don't have to, like you said, overdo it or try to cram in those sessions when I can. I can say, you know what, I'll sauna tomorrow or later or whatever it is. I don't need to push myself, and I can truly just listen to my body and say, yep, that was good enough or not. Yeah, I can definitely feel, that arrow because there were times, in Toronto where it's like, oh, I just want to jump back in right away. I'm missing on good conversation. Everyone's back in there, but it's like, hey, you got to take a break for a second. You can't be a part of it all the time, always. I think some people, and I would wonder that too, especially in social situations. I think that's pretty common where you're going to want to, push yourself a little bit further. Hey, we're in the middle of a good chat. I don't want to, break conversation and get up and cool off and come back, and break stride. So I do think, especially in a social situation, you'll find people might overdo it a little bit quicker, than if they weren't. But I do. I still wouldn't trade it for the world. Those are great sessions, regardless.
That's actually exactly how it is, and it's the same. It's the same thing as far as I can tell with eating a meal. If you are by yourself, you're gonna eat faster and most likely a little less. But when you are in a good company, you're gonna eat more, and it's gonna take longer. So
Yeah,
it's like every time I leave the hot room, I feel bad that I'm missing part of the discussion that's going on.
yeah,
Yeah, especially in Toronto. That's the first time for Eero, Sam, and I to sauna together. And then sauna with people that we were meeting there. So you do really want to be a part of those conversations. But the best conversations are always in the hot room. So
Mhm.
uh,
Yeah.
there's
Oh,
something about the way the heat lubricates the conversation.
it's true. You I don't know, get to the point a little bit quicker, or you really speak your mind a little bit more truthfully, because I think nobody's really got time for the little chit chat. I mean, it's nice. There's always pleasantries with strangers and things like that. But if you're sitting there with your friends, you're going to cut through the BS pretty quick. You don't have all day. But you do, especially you guys everybody eventually kind of gets synced up, hey, we're going to all take a break and cool off too. We can keep the conversation going that way too. But I met some great people in the sauna, didn't realize, we would meet that many fun people. But yeah, it was great. It was great just kind of floating around and kind of being a social butterfly at some of these places. You could really kind of jump in and out. I think that's the fun thing of sauna too, is you can jump in and out of these conversations and these things a little bit more seamlessly, because people are coming and going a little bit more. Hey, half their group might have just got here, and they're jumping in the hot room. The other half is leaving. You're not, especially in a larger group, you're not all going to be synced up. Eventually, especially at some of those places that have refreshments. Somebody's going to want to go get a burger, or fish and chips, or whatever it is. Somebody's going to go get a beer. Somebody's going to sit in the cold plunge a little bit longer than the others. So I think it's fun. You can really jump in and out of these different little conversations and events at some of these public saunas. I had a blast.
Yeah. Um, I got a YouTube comment here from Third Pig. Says he'd like to send us emails of his sauna photos, which we would love to see.
One hundred
So he
percent.
asked for our email address, and it's upperbenchpodcast@gmail.com. So or on our social media like Facebook, feel free and post fit pictures of your sauna build, or if you want to come on the stream and share some photos, the link's at the bottom of the screen. I think it probably should work on your phone or your computer. You just click that link, and then it'll give us a notification, and we'll have you come on. Be bold, be brave, come on and talk to us.
Yeah, absolutely, people. I mean, and then if you don't want to be on the video, you can just be on audio. You could be like a radio call in. We can do that too. So yeah, if you are interested, or if you got questions for us, now's your time. It'd be great to hear from you guys, and just see what you got cooking in your backyard here. Um, some of these DIY builds this year have been really cool. Following along on social media, on the especially the sauna design Facebook group. It's been really good this year. I think it's seen tremendous growth, and some of the things that we're seeing on there are really taking shape. Yes, you're going to see the same fails and the same questions you see every month. But it is fun to see some of these people really get creative with what they're doing. So check some of these groups out on social media. You've got the Reddit sauna forum, you've got all kinds of different subreddits, you've got all kinds of different Facebook groups. There's a little bit of something for everybody. Just watch out. There's plenty of junk out there too. Stay away from anything that says certified. Stay away from anything that says. I'm just giving him some crap. I hope he's watching right now. But yeah, we still need to talk about IR and the space because it is the holidays. I'm sure plenty of people got infrared gadgets because a family member might have heard they got into sauna, and you know what? Hey, they Googled sauna, they bought the thing, and they sent it to them. Hey, I heard you like sauna. I got you this sauna blanket for Christmas. Hey, I got you this sauna tent for Christmas, or whatever it is. Now, not all sauna tents are created equal. I do kind of want to try one. But hey, we're talking about, little things that your head stick out of. There's all kinds of gadgets and gizmos out there. So if you got one of these gadgets or gizmos and maybe you're not too excited about it, I'd love to hear that story too. I'd love to see what you got, how you got it. Did Aunt Mabel just hear, you got into sauna this year and bought you an infrared room by accident? Or what is it? I think that would be hilarious to hear. Unfortunate for those who have to live it, but yeah. Let's hear your stories, because I did hear plenty of people they were looking around for gift ideas for people, and you can get down the wrong rabbit hole, especially with some failed Google searches. And if you're not familiar with the topic or thing that you're looking for, sometimes you can end up getting the wrong thing. So and that's not uncommon with sauna either. When I Googled or looked at sauna accessories, I was looking for ladles and other things like that. Oh, I got served up a million plug in the wall gadgets that you would never want to go near. So, yeah, if you've got a funny story about it, love to hear it.
Yeah, so if you guys want to see pictures from Third Pig, I got them in our email here.
Absolutely.
Let me pull it up. You can tell me if you can see it.
Oh yeah.
So he's got a super unique heater design. I've never seen anything like this.
So this looks like it's fed through the wall.
Yep. And it would be interesting to see what he has down below those stones. So maybe he can answer in the comment, like what kind of a heating chamber that is.
Yeah, I mean it looks like just some steel.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
So here's the hot room.
Very cool. Looks like kind of a knotty spruce. I love it.
I like the
He's got
ladle. I like the
he's got
ladle in his water pot there.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's classic. And that the 45 degree, I like those 45 degree, wall mounts. I am thinking about building some probably at like 60 degrees for leaning back on. I do need a little bit something to lean on because my top bench or my upper bench is a little bit wide. So if you're sitting on it, you really can't lean back against the wall without your legs sticking out like you're a 3-year-old on a high chair. So you need a little backrest or something there. But so yeah, he went right through the corner there. Okay.
There's the feed.
He's got a little wood shed kind of lean to here with where the feed is. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But very DIY. That's cool. I like that. I like anything that you can do to make it your own. And that definitely looks like it's got some flavor to it. I'd like to. I'd definitely have a sauna in that.
Yeah. I love seeing someone trying something new, something out of the box. It's those type of things that develop, and then someone else, riffs on that when they see it, and they'd be like, "Oh, I kind of like that, but I would do it different." And then they do their build, and then down the line, you end up with something. I mean, that really is what sauna is. That's how it probably developed. Is someone just trying something new out.
Yeah, and
Sure.
we've talked about, my love for masonry lately. I do think that there's some fun things to be done there. I mean, he had, I bet you when it's cold outside though, I bet you that sauna takes a little while to heat up because that concrete, is exposed to the outside there.
Yep.
But when it is warm, I bet you it radiates really nice. I love my little brick wall, my little, two-sided wall around my stove. And when it does get warm after a while, it just radiates that heat and it does feel nice.
Yeah. Finn, or I think it's Robert probably. He says that they had makara and foil on the kiwas
Ah,
yesterday.
Excellent.
nice, nice. My kind of people. But by the way, chasing the topic a little bit for a second. So I was texting with a good friend of mine, and he has a barrel in his backyard, a barrel sauna in his backyard, and kind of we've spoken about barrels a lot during our podcasts, and the unfortunate truth is, like in his case, because it's not insulated, he can't really, he couldn't do the Christmas sauna because it's like, you heat it for 3 hours and it's still not hot enough because it's uninsulated.
Yeah.
And so you just have to know. Obviously, you get to know your sauna. You know what the weather is like when it's going to be perfect. You know what the weather is going to like when it's less than perfect. But that is, very often, and I've actually even experienced that in Finland. Very often, these new age AG saunas are not the weather conditions have to be perfect for in order for those to work. So we all know that if there's a lot of cinder blocks and whatnot, it takes a long time to heat up. But like we've also agreed upon many times over is like, I'm coming partially from the smoke sauna tradition, and who cares how long it's going to take to heat up, because it's going to pay you back big time. So if you don't have 4 hours to heat it up, then forget about it. Get yourself a barrel or whatever.
Was
But you understand?
Yeah, is your friend's an electric barrel?
I don't even know. That's a good question. I don't
I
even
I would
know.
imagine if
Yeah.
that's the case, I think, especially outdoors electric, it's usually commonplace in an outdoor electric sauna. When we were putting them in, you kind of overdid the stove just a notch. You upped your stove a little bit so you could overcompensate for, those cold nights, or maybe the lack of, premium insulation or something like that. Because I do think, most electric stoves nowadays are designed to achieve, the desired result with the minimum, amount of juice. And so if you're
Yeah.
having to struggle and go uphill, would you rather have the 4-cylinder Mazda, or would you rather have the, 8-cylinder Duramax, whatever it is going up the hill? So you do need a little bit extra juice sometimes if you're having to overcompensate for, yeah, super cold conditions, especially in an outdoor sauna. If it's not being used regularly, let's say you live, somewhere north of, the line where you're getting frost, sub freezing temperatures at night, and then you go to try to turn this thing on, and then you expect it to be ready in 45 minutes. You're going to be sadly mistaken.
Yeah, and this is one advantage of a wood heater, and we haven't talked a lot about this. I know some of our listeners have requested us to an episode dedicated to comparing wood heat versus electric and making that decision, and we should do that this year. But one nice thing about a wood heater is it gives you that ability to really step on the pedal,
Mhm.
whereas an electric could be pretty powerful. They really can be, but they're more like a
Mhm.
dump truck or something where it's going to take a while to get up to speed. But a wood heater, you put in dry, small pieces of wood, you can get that, you can really accelerate the heat on that.
Oh yeah, or you're, opening up your baffle wide open and letting it just turn into a rocket stove. When I'm first getting my wood stove fired up, I've got that thing running wide open because I want it to warm up. I want it to burn the wood, get a nice hot coal base going so that when I am using it, I've got it throttled back just a hair. so that I can kind of maintain. Yeah, I've learned my stove where I can maintain that 190-degree temp pretty well. Because you mentioned something there with electric stoves versus the wood stove. I do think with an electric stove you're getting a lot more kind of a little bit of a wave from up and down, and that's the electric, heater cycling on and off. Where with a wood stove, I think you can get kind of three things. You can get that ride up, you can get that plateau where you've really kind of got it maxed out and you're just really, running wide open, and then that cool down, because you can generate three different types of steam, in my opinion, from those where you're at in your stove. During the ramp up period, if you throw too much water on there, it's gonna pool and boil, and it's gonna be slow and not very intense. But when you throw it on, when you're at peak heat, everything's red hot, everything's ready to go. You're generating a very consistent steam. And then on the way down, you're getting probably less pooling, but it is a slower roll of the steam. And it's going to be a little bit more gradual over time, but you're not going to have that pooling effect or any cold water. It is going to still boil off quicker than on the upgo.
Yeah, Robert or Finn says here that it's been cold in Michigan, about 14 above, and with his barrel, which I think is wood fired, wood heated, took him about 55 minutes to hit 200 on his new barrel. So I think that's something that wood heating can
Yeah.
can do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So it's got to, in that case, it's got to be electric, my friend. By the way, I noticed that when I was in Finland at my late father-in-law's summer place, and we decided to heat up the sauna, and it's a hybrid, so it's a smoke, and then it's wood burning, and so we didn't have time, that 4 hours, unfortunately, to heat up the smoke sauna, so we went with the wood burning one. And I always, talking about knowing your sauna, I always thought that the wood burning heater for that sauna was too small, and I always reacted that way. But man, did it kick butt! This time we really got it hot, and it was like this. There was it was like our dear friend Marcus in Toronto throwing water on the hot rocks. It was that hot how it felt.
Yeah, I have dreams, wake up in a pool of sweat. Yeah, Marcus is throwing water on the rocks. Yeah. So no, it's good.
Yeah, Third Pig says here on YouTube, he says, you're right, Sam. It does take a while to heat his sauna up, the ones we looked at the pictures of. But sometimes he uses just a supplementary heater to help get it up to temp. And the stove is homemade with a lip around the top for the rocks. And it's cedar tongue and groove on the inside.
Excellent. The only comment that I would have, if you're not planning on doing anything to the side of the stove there, you could easily, tack on a couple of pieces of rebar and pack the sides of your stove with rocks as well. You might cut back a little bit on the heat up time, but if you're using a supplemental heat source anyway, your room temp is going to be up there. But yeah, you might be able to increase your rock mass, because I did think that rock mass probably looked a little bit on the low side, but it's definitely personal preference. But I'm definitely a fan of more rocks. So if you could pack the sides with rocks too, could be fun. Or if you're having any issue with that stove running a little bit too hot. I know sometimes with homemade stoves, if you don't have either the right thickness of steel, or you don't have it vented quite correctly or baffled quite correctly, sometimes you can get those really red hot sections of metal, and increasing your rock mass is going to take that thermal energy away from that, and hopefully extend the life of your stove too.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you have something else in mind. Another idea I had is we could take a look back to see what episodes we did this year. We just put out our last episode of the year with Rob Light, which that was kind of a hoot of the episode. he's out in New York, and he had a lot of strong sauna opinions that we liked.
Yeah.
But if you want, we could take a look and just go back through the year,
Yeah.
and if you guys want to comment on things that stood out to you.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah, let me pull it up. There we go. Can you see that?
Podcasts. Man, it's been a crazy year. I can't
Mhm.
believe it's already the end of the year here, but it's been. I do want to take a second. Yeah, thank everybody for watching along and following us and helping us grow here. You know, there's a lot more to come here in 2025, especially with Eero running around the country. We're gonna have all kinds of fun this year. But what were some of the highlights here? What do we got cooking here?
Yeah, so I'll just go back and you guys just jump in. It looks, Rob Light was our last one, and you'll have to listen to the episode to see why he wanted to make sauna boring. And then this is just a recap. We're just catching up from Eero's travels to Finland, and your Sam, your musings on masonry, and
Oh yeah.
my using the saunas in Cambodia.
That was cool. I mean, it was a lot of travel there for everybody. I mean, what a whirlwind fall we've all had. You know, and some really cool
Yeah,
episodes here. That one down there on the bottom there with Nika.
Which one? The yeah, right there. This one?
Yep,
Yeah,
great
the
episode.
sauna in Australia in the
Yep,
yeah,
Public Sauna Co. And it might
and
not
the key.
surprise
Yeah,
you, our most viewed episode this year was the one about sauna and nakedness.
of course. I mean, if you're on the internet for more than 2 seconds, you've Googled naked. So we took advantage of the algorithm there, people. But it was a great conversation. I think there was, you know, definitely some different viewpoints than what I was expecting. And you know, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of nudity in general. You know, and it goes hand in hand with my sauna practice. But if that's not your practice, that's definitely okay too. So we want everybody to be comfortable in the sauna. That's first and foremost.
Yeah, and then we have a few. I'd mentioned that one with Haley and Cody from up in the Keweenaw.
Yep, in the logbook. That was, yeah, it's very cool to see what they're doing.
yeah.
I've been following them on Instagram. Great pictures all around.
Yeah. And
And
then
then
we had
yeah, there was one with Matt there. You know, Mr. Infrared himself. I'd love to talk more. We got to get him on again.
yeah, that would be good to actually get them on and just interview face to face. That would be good.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh,
I
and
agree.
our U personas, we love doing reviews of sauna pictures, just like we did there just a little bit ago. We love doing that kind of stuff. So if you've got pictures of saunas, you know, send them in. We love looking at them. We love commenting and talking through them. Or if you have questions or problems with your sauna, we'd love to help out too.
And I've been collecting. I've continued to collect U persona photos. So I've got a new batch for you and Eero.
Yes, U personas 3 coming in
Awesome.
2025.
That's right.
That's good. And I really liked the Dr. Mark Timmerman on our show. It was he understands both the health benefits, but he also understands the
Mhm.
sauna way better than many other people, and so it's like he's got a fantastic angle
Yeah,
to that
and I love that
discussion.
it's not an angle. I love that he's just so down to earth about sauna and medicine and taking a very common sense approach, you know, to what he's doing. And it just very smart guy. You know, can't recommend that episode enough because I think we talk a lot about all the craziness around sauna health. You know, and there's plenty of things saying sauna can do X, Y, and Z. But again, listen to yourself first and foremost, and then check this one out. This one's pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think we are going, at least I am going here in circles. But it's like if and when we concentrate on the health benefits, we are throwing the baby out with the bathing water. So it's just like, because that's not, if that's the only
Yeah.
angle that we have, then it can't be a very good
Right,
sauna
right.
experience.
And like we've always said, I think health benefits are great. I think that the mental health benefits are great. But I'm not here to argue what it can and cannot do. I don't know for certain. I know what it does for me though. I can say give it a whirl, and I think you'll enjoy it. And that's as far as medically I'd ever really want to discuss anything with anybody. I mean, nobody wants to hear about
Mm.
all your medical ailments, this, that, and the other thing. If it feels good, do it and share it with people.
Well, yeah. That being said, though, I do think there's way too much focus on the health side and not enough on the other parts of the practice. But I would like to see us focus, um, have a few more health related episodes. For
Mhm.
a stressed out, sedentary society that we have,
Yes.
sauna is good and disconnected. Sauna is good. It hits community. It hits getting your vascular system going.
Hmm.
And actually, Matt Justice just had an episode on this recently, where he talked about the mental health benefits. So
Yeah, big things.
it hits on what we need.
Oh, 100%. And we're not just talking about aging or detoxing or anything like that. I mean, these are tangible things too that are beneficial regardless of some of these things are just a nice thing that you're doing them along with sauna because the sauna is getting you to do them. Disconnect from your phone, take a break from screens, take a moment to, focus on your breathing. Doing those things, obviously the sauna helps you do those things because you have to. You're not in there, tapping away on your keyboard. So you can kind of disconnect a little bit, and shut your eyes and just relax. Enjoy the heat.
Yep.
That's that's actually very interesting because a lot of people talk about with sauna. They talk about detox, and we can argue to the end of the world, what does it really mean? But talking about mental benefits, the digital detox, that's for real.
Mhm.
That is for real. There's that you can't
No,
deny
no,
that part.
and I could tell the other night, I had a little bit of a headache because I'd, been playing video games all day and been on my phone all day. I had the day off, so just kind of, hey, too much screen time can, just kind of, it drags on you. You get sucked into those infinite loops of, oops, I closed this app, but now I'm reopening it because I might have had a notification or something new might have popped up and you kind of get sucked into these circles. So sauna helps you break some of that. You're taking at least half an hour to an hour out of your life, to hopefully put that down and focus on something else.
Yeah, and speaking of the different aspects of sauna, Finn brings up, you could bake in a sauna. I mean, you could probably bake a pasty in a sauna, but not sure you could do that in infrared. So that's one advantage of a real sauna.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, shoot, we made what was it? We did baked potatoes in the ashes. We've we heat heat up all kinds of stuff. It love it.
Yeah. The bullseye approach episode, that's actually one of my favorites. I think it articulates what we just talked about, which is all the different elements of sauna and having a practice that's robust. It's not just like one slice of the pie. And then Marcus, that was fun. We did an episode and then we sounded with him later that year.
Yeah, always great. I mean, just a wealth of just culture and heritage. He is the sauna guy in Canada.
Yeah. And then it looks like, what else do we have? What's jumping out at you?
Sauna in Utah. I like that. If you think of what is the opposite of Finland, Utah. Um, in my head, I'm like, what is the most absolutely, polar opposite place that I could think of, for sauna, and for some reason, it was a great, I mean, great great to hear that some of these scenes are popping up, where you wouldn't think. Utah, I know, and I'm bad mouthing Utah here. Please don't feel like I am, because I know it is a diverse ecosystem of mountains and arid and everything, forest, you name it. But when I think of Utah, I'm thinking more of the desert side, maybe southern Utah, where there isn't a whole heck of a lot going on. But having sauna, I mean, having a community grow even in those little corners of the world, that's great. It's great to hear that people are really just taking sauna, running with it in their local communities, and it's flourishing. It doesn't matter that it's Finland. It doesn't matter that it's Minnesota or Maine or wherever, the Upper Peninsula. It can be Phoenix, Arizona. It can be Mexico City. It can be wherever. And a sauna scene is going to take off, which is fun to see, or Australia even.
Yeah, and it can get cold in the mountains in Utah. I have a
Oh
few
yeah.
friends. I have a few friends that live in Utah and that appreciate sauna, love sauna. And one of them was sending me pictures of him cold plunging, and I can't remember. He might have been breaking through the ice to cold plunge recently. So,
Heck yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
and then our friend Justin came on in February, and then that was a great discussion. If you haven't heard it, he's an excellent
Mhm.
storyteller. And then we started the year off with Terhan.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, we did definitely jump back and forth between Europe and North America here, with some of our guests, and we had fun. We set out to do a lot of fun things, and we did. We were fortunate enough to get to go and do them. We talked about traveling and getting the a little bit of a get together, and it. By God, we did it. So super pumped that we got to, go to Toronto. And if you missed out on Toronto, I'm sure in 2025, who knows where we'll be, but we'll definitely try to get something together here for next year, where maybe we can get a weekend together with you guys and enjoy some sauna, enjoy some some dried fish.
No, maybe smoked fish this time around.
Yeah,
I had my go with the dried fish. I'm not sure that I want to dedicate myself too much to that, but I know I like smoked fish. And we talked about the East Coast. People have been saying, well, what about Finland? Or we've got, I think, some invites up to the UP or North Dakota. There's like different places. Who knows where we'll show up?
yeah, absolutely. And it, just like we were talking about, sauna is reaching everywhere. It doesn't matter if it's cold. It doesn't matter if it's hot. Sauna is good year round, especially right now during this time. Hopefully, everybody listening, you've had some time off, this week, or can enjoy it, a day or two here in the coming days where you can get in your sauna, enjoy it. Hopefully you've got some friends and family to share it with. But if not, hey, take time to reflect on the year. It's been a hell of a ride in 2024. We've seen a lot. I'm not even going to comment on anything geopolitically or anything of the such, but a lot of craziness in the world. Take care of your friends, take care of your family, take care of your neighbors. If you've got a neighbor you've never met, what a great way. Hey, warm up the sauna. Say, hey, just introducing myself. I'm having a sauna if you want to come over. Might sound weird, but hey, I trust me, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and we plan on doing that with our neighbors more this year. One of our neighbors is, she's Finnish. She's across the street from us, and she came over and used our sauna. I think it was last month, and then there were some neighbors of ours another block away, and I had stopped in and seen their sauna. I can't remember if I told you guys this. He had a Kuma heater in there, and he built a real nice sauna. And then we had a huge storm, and the tree crushed their garage and their sauna.
Oh
So,
no.
so we've had
Lord.
the invite out for them to come and use ours. Well, theirs will be rebuilt later, hopefully.
Yeah,
But
shoot.
I think we've got a date on the calendar for them to come use ours, and there's a bunch of other neighbors we'd love to have over and use our sauna too.
The talking about Terhen ladies who were the first this year, so they are actually running a spa slash sauna in Midtown Helsinki, and I went to see them, and I restocked on my Terhi Brutus, she wrote this book about sauna therapy, and so I finally I had a couple of copies before, but I gave them away as gifts. But now I have a couple of copies myself here again. But now this is interesting. Talking about different kind of sauna experiences. So when they were at the show, we were asking them like, what is the basic? Because men, this is sexism, I admit, but men really, the treatment is the ladle and the bucket, and that's, soaping yourself and whatnot. That's it. But it's a little different story sometimes with ladies, and we came up with the idea that honey and salt is the kind of basic good hot room treatment. Now, unfortunately, though, unless you're prepared to wash if you don't have a drain, you're gonna have a problem with that sauna therapy. But anyway, so this is an interesting book to read, and it's just it's gonna expand, and more of this kind of stuff is gonna start happening. Now, no, talking about manly sauna treatment. That's the makkara on top of the the heater. That's your therapy right there. But anyway, so that was an interesting. I went to say hello to these ladies while in Helsinki.
Very cool. Well, gentlemen, we've been on the air here for a little over an hour. Any closing thoughts?
Well, I think I look forward to 2025. It's great to meet up in 2024. Sounding with you guys was the highlight of the year. I think we need to commit to the honey and salt experience sometime this next year. Then we can report back.
Yes,
I like
yes,
that. Yeah,
that's a deal. That is definitely a deal.
it may need to be a Finland trip. I think, yeah, definitely either Finland or North Dakota. Go see Bobby and those guys. I think that'd be great too. But again, Finland is calling. Shame on me. I haven't been yet. So I'm looking forward to that. But if we do a Finland trip, I'm going to want to do like a whole European tour. I'm going to want to go over to Estonia. I'm going to want to, go down through Lithuania. I'm going to, stop, Poland, Germany,
Latvia. Yeah.
The whole nine. And who knows? I mean, I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And maybe
So,
hopefully things settle down in like Russia and Ukraine and they can sort that stuff out. Hopefully,
yeah.
There's a lot of good banya in those areas. So,
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And getting there, while everything is still, the way it is how I want to get there. So, yeah, guys, it's been a pleasure. Eero, what do you think? Final thought?
Well, I'm obviously very much looking forward to at least one, if not two trips besides the trips that I will be making, as a lecturer of the year for Finlandia Foundation National. 2024 has been kind of a weird year for us, and many friends and loved ones have unfortunately passed away, and some stuff has happened, but I guess that's only life, and when you're getting older, you just have to live with that. But I'm definitely gonna compensate that with a lot of sauna in 2025.
Absolutely. Here. I'm looking to, kick the year off right with good sauna, and just hopefully for, keep my fingers crossed, and those fun opportunities to sauna, I'll keep raising my hand for them. So stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of fun stuff coming up in 2025. We've got lots of stuff we haven't even covered yet. And if you've got any ideas for future topics for the show, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to have you on. We'd love to hear and see your saunas. But again, from all of us here at the Upper Bench, we just want to wish you a happy holiday. Stay safe out there, everybody, and happy sweating. Cheers, guys.